Starboard quarter copy. All right, thank you. Bridge open, Mike.
Thank you.
And I'll push out a little bit, Dave, and we can try to get a bearing on this ridge here.
Sure.
Okay.
Just had a long delay with my
The gains.
iris adjustment.
Oh, yeah. I remember that happening to me a while back.
Yeah, it just took probably about 4 to 5 seconds before it responded.
So we got a couple glass sponges while I was gone. I've just got Sea Scrab open and just getting caught up with what you guys saw. I was gone.
Yeah, there was a weird one with kind of a...
It's a small sea star down
Oh, yeah?
right of
Is that a
lasers.
brittle star or a
Down
sea
right
star?
of lasers.
Right next to lasers
Open
now.
Oh, I see it.
Well, the stock had
You want
kind
to do a
of
quick zoom?
a fold down the middle.
Oh,
Is that a brittle star?
Brittle star.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is the same kind we saw before, I
Okay.
think. Some kind of
Zoom out.
amphiurid or something. Yeah, we can move on.
I can't tell which direction is upslope based on my sonar.
Okay.
All I see is that it's flat.
Yeah, copy that.
yeah, I think
about our
tomorrow
heading.
it's sponges time
I'm
again.
not sure.
I think we try to
Copy.
rotate around with the animals that we collect. And
Well,
so
I'll
to
push
keep
out
in
at its
track
other
of the
length and
different
see if we
groups
can
we
find on
collect,
my
trying to
sonar here.
give a little bit to everybody. So we got a bunch of corals
Today is
yesterday.
young,
and-
Chris.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think if we do a third collection, it's a special one. We want to keep to, and we haven't made that much distance so far today, so it'd be good to actually survey up this ridge. Since we've got
Something
2 rocks and 2
Large
biologics
white
already.
on the right, in the background.
Yeah, broken pillow right there. The radiating rays you can see in it. It's a beautiful.
Possibly
Split
large
up.
I
sponge.
love looking at these. So
That looks downhill, doesn't it?
ancient and basaltic.
Looks like another Narella macrocalyx there. That's on the bottom. I think you got an image of it. And this is, we're looking off of the, okay, we're looking off the east side of the ledge. That's why it's going off
Yeah,
to nowhere.
we're trying to acquire the
The ridge.
direction here. It's pretty flat.
So Scott France chimes in on that sea cucumber we were looking at.
It should be flat, too.
That
in that pack.
Okay.
must be a tough job extracting value
So
from
this
those
isn't
old
abnormal.
organic materials. Les Watling comments that long-coiled intestine is
So we can
probably
go
an
by high
adaptation
pack.
to maximizing absorption
050.
of digestive products.
050, that's pretty much what high pack wants.
Since the
Let's try
quality
it.
of the organics
Copy.
is probably pretty low.
just
You all right with that, Copilot?
Lots of
We just try
processing.
30
Yeah,
meters at
that's
050.
fine with me.
Okay.
I'm going to come around to that heading.
All right.
The Poliopogon sponge
Sorry, we
off
can't-
to the left.
Okay. Can't quite get
Yeah.
up far enough to see the one on the right, but we can.
That's okay. That's one of the Bolosoma that we imaged earlier.
What about this one in front of us?
Maybe a snap zoom on it. I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
Got a snap zoom?
Yes,
I
sir.
know what genus it is.
Meters at 050 degrees at 0.2 knots.
So this is something that we called, Poliopogon
30 meters
species
bearing
A because it has
050,
two
Speed 0.2.
sort of concave
Coming up.
surfaces on either side of it. And Poliopogon B, we call it that because it has only one concave surface and the other surface is convex. And that's where we are on this whole group
So
of sponges.
this is Poliopogon A.
This is A because it's got a double convex. But
For a moment there, I thought it was because you named it after the fawns. You know, A. It looks like a big thumb.
No, I gotta check. I get all confused on A, B, and there's a 2 and there's a 4 and all types of things.
Yes. All right. We can probably zoom out here.
One day we're gonna
ROV nav, move initiated.
get some good names for these things.
I look forward to that.
So that is Poliopogon species A. That's right. So these big massive sponges, they're in a group, an order if you will, that's called Amphidiscophera. And that's in reference
Is that,
to a very
sand or
specific type of
star
spicule
blower right of
microscopic
lasers?
park it has. It's called
Looks
an
like sediment to
amphidis.
me, but we can take a look.
And they're beautiful, and I always find it very exciting to
No
look
longer
at them
looks
under the scope
star-shaped.
because it looks like two umbrellas that are hooked by their handles in opposite directions. So you've got
Do a quick zoom.
two
That's
umbrella
sediment.
openings.
Yeah. Okay. Worth a look.
And they're very distinctive for that order of sponge. And so it's always fun to see them under the microscope.
Scott France offers another great interpretation of Poliopogon species A because he's Canadian, so maybe he was saying Poliopogon, eh?
Back down to 70. And that's just the rail
Oh,
cam, right?
Scott.
So we're-
Yep. That's
Okay.
just the rail cam.
That's pretty good.
That's better than anything I came up with today.
What a great
Lose
day
starboard rail
today
cam.
is.
Yeah, we had some exciting stuff earlier, Roland.
Yeah.
Got some good samples, and
I thought it was Pun Day Sunday.
I got you.
Roland, it's going to be pun day every day. I actually have started to accumulate a list on my iPad from people who've offered their stupidest puns to me. And we're going to fire one off every single morning to try to hook people on listening to our monument introduction here. Because believe it or not, I think there's a lot of people out there that actually like really stupid jokes, like me. So
Hey, I'm all for them.
we're going to make you wait until you find out that we are in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument in the Johnston Atoll unit of that marvelous monument before telling our bad joke. And a little bit about it as we're cruising over the bottom. Pacific Remote Islands are a set of islands. They're under U.S.
Curved coral reefs.
jurisdiction, and they
Oh, up
include
there, on the left.
Johnston,
See it?
Atoll, Jarvis Island, Palmyra, Kingman Reef, Howland and Baker Islands, Wake Islands, and now they're all in
Might wanna come down a little
they're all
bit,
under
Dave.
monument status. And we are working in the monuments. We have for the last 2 years been working in the monuments, helping the monument management agencies such as NOAA Fisheries, and,
Yeah, you can.
as well
heaving
as
a lot. I think you
sanctuaries,
can definitely come down. a
which
few
is
meters,
overseeing the Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument in northwest Hawaiian Islands. We're helping them understand
confirm
what
it's
their
that
resources in
rail
deeper
Okay.
water.
Back on.
Thanks. You want to take a look at this, Roland?
Yeah, pilot, could we look at this sponge or squirrel that's, if we get a
Wanna
chance,
zoom in
the
real
lower
quick?
left?
Just,
Yeah,
another. Oh, is it a?
it's a shrimp or an amphipod or something.
Yeah, there's a
All right.
okay. There's a looped coral over to the left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we've documented. There it is. I don't
Pretty
think we've
big polyps.
documented this before today, but
Okay.
it may be a bamboo. But I'm thinking it's a type of primnoid. That's my guess, and I'll bet I'm wrong. But
Just let me know when I need to move over, Dave.
I think there's a crinoid just behind it.
I agree with video.
You're good for a while.
Okay.
very manganese crusted substrate right here. That very bubbly texture.
Slight left, and you frame that
So is it
crinoid behind the coral.
Is it a bamboo? No, it's a blue coral, isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah, it is a bamboo coral.
Huh.
I was thinking it was Candidella from a distance there without the polyps on the stalk. Maybe it's a young one of the ones that we've
Zoom
already
in.
seen.
2 for 1.
Oh, and there's a, I think that's a Brisingid in the, wait, I'm going to stop before we see it. No, crinoid.
Crinoid.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got some needles in between the spines. I think Scott and Les would probably go to the older name, maybe the Lepidopsis group for now, until they revise the family, which they're working on right now. That's my guess. They're probably good for science whenever you get a
This is a good
other videos
position.
ready.
Let's get some good stuff on this guy.
ROV nav, move completed.
We are now at
Down
2,520
80.
Go full
meters.
screen.
Sure.
Lepidisa Sea Clade. Thank you, Scott France. That's Scott France.
Lasers are clear.
He's calling in
Yeah,
from
turn off the
home,
lasers,
but he's
Dave.
with the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. So thank you very much, Scott.
And video's clear.
All right, rolling.
We're doing a little change out of seats up front, so we're going to be pausing just for a moment while they do that.
Dave Wright's going to jump in here, rolling. Just a second.
Thank you, Dan. Great flying with you again.
You two rolling.
A couple of our chat room participants. We've got Asako Matsumoto from the Chiba Institute in Japan with us this morning on a Sunday, which is terrific. Or is it? It's Monday, I guess, in Japan. That's true. I got to get my Nicole Morgan calling in from participating from Florida State. It is Sunday for Nicole. Nolan Barrett. We've got Nicola Rodriguez from the University of Hawaii Hilo. I already mentioned Scott France. We've got Tim Schenk from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and Tina Molitsova from the Shirshov Institute in Moscow. So thank you very much for spending your Sundays or Mondays in the case of now in Moscow. Let me think here.
From the interruption.
Moscow is going to be Monday too, I think.
If you would like to continue, press *1 now, or the conference will be.
Well, it's going to be east of. It's going to be east of
Here, let me look it up.
yeah. Tina, what is it? Is it? She's asleep, by the way. So I see her in the event log, but I'll bet she's asleep.
It's 1 a.m. in Moscow at the moment.
1 a.m. on what day, though?
Do you hear me?
Monday, July
Monday,
24th.
yeah. So it's Monday.
I hear you, Fernando. Okay, sounds good. I got you too. Loud and clear. Get some things adjusted here. So, watch lead.
Yes, pilot. Go ahead.
I recognize that voice, Chris.
I recognize your voice, but I can't quite make out the other backs of the heads here. I wonder if you could introduce them.
I'll do an intro as soon as Nav finishes his briefing and his relief there.
Yeah, I did notice you had one extra head, so yeah, maybe we should wait for that.
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
I think we created a monster.
Yeah,
today.
we're just being magic today.
Don't worry, the punishment is just beginning.
All right, that does it. I'm going to throw out. This is from Rebecca at the. Excuse me, I'll bring this up. She's at the ISC Watch 2. She's from URI, University of Rhode Island, and this was her offering. Okay, Dave, you need to answer this, please, while we're waiting. How many tickles does it take to make a squid laugh?
They have 8 arms and 2 tentacles.
No, you're wrong. I said, how many tickles does it take to make a squid laugh? And it's 10 tickles.
Oh, it's O-pun season.
Okay.
And the volley is fired back.
Thank you very much for that, Rebecca.
Dave, when last discussed, we were making tracks.
So I think we're
Okay.
good. If you'd like to
Ridge.
introduce yourselves.
Let's see, I'm going to spin out a turn here and
Sure.
head off to the northeast.
I have you at 90.
Yeah, I'm
Pilot.
going to...
Uh-oh. That's not nice, Roland. Okay, we'll be straight for a little while.
Fish.
Yeah.
Lower right.
Ah,
Is that a
got
fish?
It, that
It
is.
is.
A fish. Stand by.
There we go. I think
Nav
that's the
this
first fish
co-pilot.
today. It's a big one.
What was the direction of our last move?
What?
Copy. Thank
It's
you.
Lasers on.
Ophidiid. It's a
That's an
Castile.
Ophidiid. Okay.
And I'll
I've
bet,
just made a maneuver
and I'll bet
here.
from
Yeah, I have him like
here it's
right
going
at
to
the
be
bottom of my screen.
Basogigas. That would be my guess, but
Okay.
maybe not. No, maybe not.
It's going to turn on us.
No, I'm going to
Stand
take
by.
that back.
Nav, are we moving? We're not, right? Copy. Thank
You
you.
know, if I didn't know any better, I'd think that it was just about to go after that sea cucumber. Oh, no.
He's kind of freaked out from the lights a little bit.
Huh.
So it's got a scooped head and it's big.
Stand by. He's
Serious
headed down there.
Watch out your
Yep.
tether
See
pilot.
that? Pull up a little bit and let me get things straightened out here.
Copy. Pulling up.
Thing that's on the rock that is to our left side.
Straight below lasers.
It's like a V-shaped pair of branches.
Okay.
Where is waypoint 3?
Well, that
Okay.
fish I think I am going to keep to Basogigas, possibly Walker Eye. That's scooped out. I was busily trying to look it up. This looks like that forked Narella, maybe, the Primnoid 2 branch.
Okay, let's hang on here a little bit. I'll get steadied up here. Video, come on in.
Yeah, this looks like Primnoid, the one we saw before. That's great, Dave. Thank you.
Okay, wide, please. Get out a little bit ahead here for the benefit of my co-pilot.
Go ahead.
So what I see is the trend of this feature is much more to the southeast. I think this might be just a local high.
Yeah, well, maybe we can stick on the local high of a good pilot, because there's a depression where waypoint 3 is located, and I was debating whether or not we ought to go there. We were sticking to the east side, but there it looks like there was some slumping of the ridge in that, along that edge on the east. But the trend is definitely northeast if we can keep going that way.
Of course,
That
I'm
is-
pointed south, so let me
Yeah.
turn around northeast and see if I can find some up in that direction. It may be we just climbed up one of these knobs and have to jump off and run across.
Yeah, I think that's
If you
it.
want me, I
and
can turn that way to see if I see anything in my
I
camera.
think just hugging sort of the west side, like there, as you're coming around. I think that's your best.
Yeah.
There's your high, right there.
Okay, so there's terrain to follow. I'm looking almost due north a little bit, actually, a little bit west of north right now.
Yeah, and then this will gradually curl to the northeast, I think, if I remember the bathymetry, the higher-res bathymetry.
Okay, so Yeah, let's.
All right, I'll start turning.
I tell you what, you have a negative turn in, so why don't you come clockwise to line up with me?
Okay, turning clockwise. Well,
Go all the way around.
So right now, I think I mentioned for those of you listening to the pre-dive, and we were talking about the selection of this particular site. This is a southwest extending rift zone ridge coming off of a seamount that's tentatively named as Wetmore Seamount. And we picked a depth which
Did you
is
just go
something
over
that we haven't
the tether?
explored enough.
up.
It's right around 25, between 26 and 2,500 meters that we think could be potentially a possible maximum
is that a
for
safe?
really
altitude?
dense bamboo communities, bamboo and sponge communities. And we're not sure. We don't have enough information. We have not explored this depth range very much in the past. So when we were doing our pre-dive meetings about the various sites and where to go, there was a decision made to, try between 26 to 2,500 meters and try to get some more information on that. And right now, I think we currently believe that there is some truth to this, some type of a potential
Swimming
barrier.
fish, I think, just
right
below
around 25 to 2,600
about,
meters. And today I'm not seeing anything
3 to
that
5
would dispute
inches.
that. It's just another data point, I realize, but this is, again,
So you'd
more
say the
supporting
slope is at
of the fact that the really amazing communities are a bit
340.
further up, maybe in the 2,000, 2,200 and above range. So we're still getting animals, and they're still scattered around and interesting stuff, but certainly no amazing ridge communities that we've seen elsewhere at shallower depths.
So we were on a local bump, and we're going to have to go back down to proceed northeasterly. And
Okay.
So we'll do that. So best guess, Nav, and we'll head in that direction. Let's pick 050 and go, because and come on down with me, co-pilot, and away we
Going
go.
down.
We just ended up on the top of a bump, and we'll have to carry on.
Yeah, and maybe since we're not very far from our actual landing site, maybe we can make some tracks for a little while here, and then once we get a little further upslope, we can take a look at some of the small stuff again. But we could do a little bit of community ecology for a while, just to get some distance going, if that's okay with everybody.
Sure. So you can line up with me, Fernando, and away we'll go.
Okay.
That's good.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you.
So I apologize for all this spinning around and the appearance of aimlessness, but we now have found ourselves and are headed off.
Okay, and we found ourselves in a boulder field too. That's
It's a large whip core
yeah,
coming
okay.
straight ahead.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, Roland, I think we ought to make some tracks here, at least to get a little distance. As I said, I don't think we've made very much distance at all from our waypoint, if we're okay with that.
Yeah, I'll just report it out. You and the pilots make the call to do it or not.
Okay.
I'll just
Co-pilot,
point it out
just
so you
steady
guys
up
note it.
on 050 and stay there.
Yeah, it
And
looks
that'll
like
keep me on the true path here.
Yeah, it looks like it's right on the way, the headings. We could do a snap zoom on this as we go and just get a little distance, and then we'll settle down again and go for things. Got a small glass sponge on the right, this whip coral in front of us. These are bamboo corals that I think we've imaged several times today already.
Let's
Looks like
snap
it's the
on
same
this
thing.
video just to get a quick ID.
Yeah, this that looks pretty good. See if he's got needles. No, it doesn't really have very many needles. In between the tentacles, I mean. There's some smaller ones. Okay, we'll just stick to acidid
I'll
for the
head
moment.
that way. Yeah, I'm looking off to the east here just because I got to following this coral here.
Yeah, we need a.
No, let's put in a long one to get to some new territory. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, all right. Well, yeah, 50. Anything less than a tether length isn't going to show us new territory.
So are we moving bearing 050? Copy.
So we're getting a interesting change in topography.
This is the bridge, go
We
ahead.
had a lot of pillow
Willie
lava, is
Mercer,
very
down
obvious,
here.
big bulbous
50
eruptions.
meters,
Now we're kind of in a little bit of a
050
flatter plate-like area, I guess, with some manganese
Range 50
nodules on the
meters, bearing
seafloor.
050.
And we
Speed
do see this
0
on the
decimal
ridges.
2.
It's a little bit
Coming up.
hard for biologists, I think, like myself, to understand. Ridge, I always thought would be really solid all the way along it, and that's just not the case. You see a lot of loose stuff on a very narrow crest, and you makes you kind of wonder again how it's able to remain stable. There had to have been a lot of earthquakes and other things over millions of years that the seamount's been around that probably shook up a lot of the stuff, and landsliding and
ROV nav.
various
moving
other
initiated.
phenomena. Sometimes it's hard to realize that we are looking at an extremely minute point in time here on these seamounts that are presumably 70 to 80 million years old. So you just see this one little point. It's sometimes hard to sort of trace back everything that's happened at this site over that incredible amount of time.
So now that we've settled into the new watch, I'll make some introductions. All of us here in the front row are working with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. We operate the ROV systems here on the Okeanos Explorer. My name is Dave Wright. I'm your pilot for the next 2 hours. To my left is, and to my right,
Fernando Aragon as co-pilot.
and to my farther right,
It's Roland Bryant in the far corner.
video operator.
And in the back row,
Tara Smithy back here clipping.
And this is Chris Ma from the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History.
And I'm Chris Kelly with the University of Hawaii School of Ocean Underscience Technology, and we've got a new person to my left who is...
Hey, this is Matt Dornbeck. I'm part of the National Centers for Environmental Information, and I help out with the Deep Sea Coral Program, all part of NOAA.
Yes, you might have heard at least 4 different institutions there mentioned in those introductions, just in this tiny little control room.
Okay.
And for that reason, because these cruises are so collaborative, and that we decided to name this particular cruise Laulima Oka Moana, which means partnerships in the sea. And it really is. It basically takes a village. It takes a lot of villages to make something like this happen. And so that's what we're doing. We've got non-human folks participating, and a lot of folks on the chat line too are participating. And Chris, what did we just zoom in on?
We were just looking at a feather star, which is an echinoderm, an animal related to sea stars. They hold their arms up into the water, and they extend those structures called pinnules to filter food out of the water currents as they bring that by. Oh, and Dave, there's a little frond-like structure that we went over as well, sort of further back.
We don't want to go back.
I think that was the Xenophile 4.
Well, just zooming out, but, right to that rock onto the right.
I see what you mean.
Not
quite so further back.
Yeah.
I think upper right.
I think that's
a dead sponge.
Is it a sponge or a foram?
Well, that's a Xenophile foram.
So this sort of frond-like sediment structure, this is the sediment house, if you will, of a giant amoeba called a xenophiophorian. And so I'm not entirely sure how big the organisms are that make this, but a lot of these sediment structures are made by single-celled organisms similar to amoebas. And if you can think of giant deep-sea amoebas that can eat animals, there you go. Some of them can produce a reticulate network that can feed on worms and other small critters. But the animal or the organism that made that was a single-celled beast. We can move on.
We're just now starting to get things rolling here, and I have some tether to work with.
And those little cobbles down there are what we call seamount nodules, because they're actually occurring on the flanks of seamounts. They are manganese nodules, and you can find these types of little cobbles, black-covered cobbles, way down on the abyssal seafloor in various places, just covering the seafloor for miles and miles and miles. Here you just see them in pockets mostly on these seamounts. You see them on the summits of flat-top seamounts or guyots. But they are of interest because all of this crust you're seeing and all of those nodules, there's possibly, they may possibly be a movement in the future, maybe 50 years, 100 years from now, to actually begin extracting the minerals from this type of precipitate. That's what it really is, manganese crust and manganese nodules, because there's a lot of valuable minerals inside of it, including cobalt and iron and titanium and rare earth metals and so forth. So there's a bit of a scramble right now going on to develop technology, and that's kind of the reason why we are diving on manganese crust depths, because they're not very well explored, and we want to explore these depths and these substrates and see what lives here. We're getting a little more consolidation up ahead. Looks like a small ridge-like formation in front of us. Currently at a depth of 2,530 meters. let's see, our current oxygen levels are about 2.5 milliliters per liter. And since Scott and Les and perhaps some others, Tina maybe as well, joined us after I described the oxygen minimum today, we actually hit the minimum somewhere around 450 meters or so on the way down, and the oxygen got below 0.5 milliliters per liter, so it was definitely anoxic on the way down, and it fairly quickly moved back up above 1. It was actually, well, not very quickly, I guess. It moved back above 1 milliliter per liter at around 1,000 meters depth. So there are folks out there paying attention to that, including the midwater folks who are very interested in noting oxygen. Could do a snap zoom on the sponge if that's possible, and if not, I'm pretty sure it's
okay. Come on in, Roland.
Yeah, it's one of these Fairney matted, I believe, sponges, and possibly in the genus Poliopogon.
It's just down below here. What's the little...
ROV nav bridge, move complete.
Copy, thank you.
What is that?
Max zoom.
Yeah, let me move over there a little bit, Roland.
Tracking.
You're going to have to come wide a second. Get the picture here. Yeah, I'm too
I think
high.
there's a little coral on the rock in the upper left-hand corner as well.
Yeah, I'll be headed over there.
The coral is on the left of the rock. Of the rock we're currently on, anyway.
Those little red dots are lasers. Again, we periodically point that out to folks who are just joining us, and they're separated by 10 centimeters. That's how we get an idea of how big things are down there.
Might let the geologists know that that rock is too big for us to collect. Someone just connected to the conference call, so I'm going to reattach it.
Okay.
Something that looks like a little barnacle, but what is this kind of green thing?
Oh, it's a dead stalk from something like one of the corals we've been seeing. There's all these little...
Chrysogorgia, maybe.
Yeah, there's all these little tiny frond-like things that are on the surface of the rock that might also be protists or some small organism. Yeah, and the white thing is just a barnacle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether it was attached to some kind of...
Oh, yeah, they're... Oh, yeah, it is a creature. So good call. But let's head up to the left there.
Okay,
and I think there's a little triangular thing hanging off of that boulder. And I believe that was a coral.
Oh, I see a starfish.
Yes.
A starfish or brittle star?
Brittle star.
Well, brittle star.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we can forego the brittle star. But the coral is, I think, what we...
Okay.
What is
this little spike over here?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, actually, now I see several. Oh, and
lower left.
Here's a real coral with an associate.
Is that a chrysogorgid or is that a...
Come on in,
Not so sure what that is. Yep, it's a chrysogorgid. Hard to say what's going on. Looks like it lost a whole bunch of branches, and it's got one remaining branch with a little plume on it to the left.
Yeah.
But definitely Chrysogorgiid. It is in the family Chrysogorgidae. See if Les Watling cares to elaborate any more. But yeah, whenever you're ready, we're good for science.
Wide, please.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that coral is in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, no problem.
There's another big whip in the background.
Okay,
We've imaged a bunch of those today already.
Dave,
You weren't talking about this one,
I
right?
think you're going
No, I was
past
talking
the
about
one
the
he
little
was
cup
talking
coral.
about.
That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need look at this whip. We've got a lot of them already.
I'm going to just catch it on my way by. It's got a little something going on at the top there.
Crinoid,
Yeah, okay.
probably.
Yeah. I'm going to follow this edge around here. This might be more interesting.
And another, the yellow bolosoma sponges that we saw even upon landing on the site early today. I think most people who've been watching these dives are now real familiar with that lemon yellow sponge and a lot of the sponges.
It's pretty sparse here, but there's things are trying to make a go of it.
Yeah, it's kind of the typical community that you would see at deeper depths where there's things. It's just not a whole lot of them, and that's what we've been noticing the past few years. You can go down to 3,000, you can go down to 4,000, even 5,000 meters or more, and there's always life. But there isn't these amazing, I called them at one point deep sea cities. In fact, I called them that on a Wake Up with Al Roker in 2015, because they're so dense and they're so populated with animals that I just couldn't come up with a better name for it. They're not gardens, you know, they're forests.
I think we're almost getting
I don't
ready
know what
for
you want to call them.
another ship move.
But this type of community is a little more typical of deeper
Okay.
communities. So there's, and no matter what depth you go, something's figured it out and how to make a living.
So I'm at the northwest edge of this kind of ridgy thing, so the next move should have more east in it to keep us up on top here, I think.
Dead sponge stock to the left.
I think you're reaching the end of your tether, pilot.
I think you're right, Fernando.
I mean, you're looking right now.
Yeah, I think so. Just for the next go here, just to see where we end up.
All right.
It could be just it's all low hills and dales up here. It's hard for me to say.
I mean, as long as we're going up slope, I can move to 70 degrees and we can move a few meters that way, and then we'll... I have something to my about 90 degrees from me.
Yeah,
but no
definitely
big
higher
difference.
terrain to the... We might be. Yeah, we might want to move the whole shebang east a bit.
Do you want to just rotate to maybe 80 degrees, pilot?
I'll come into zero. I'm almost there now.
All right.
But you know, in the near field, I see an edge.
Yeah, I think that's your east edge right there. It's just kind of funny terrain with a lot of ups and downs, and should be a very, very narrow ridge.
In which case, I would say that this away is it 060.
Yeah, and that's looking up slope along the ridge. Pilot, so are you detecting any current flow here at the moment? And if so, what direction would you?
Tell you what I'll do. I'm in a perfect situation. I'll just let go and let myself drift. My heading is 050. Might be getting a little tug from my tether, but we'll just see where we end up here. I'm turning very slowly to the right. That's tether forces there. There's not a significant current here at this time. Yeah, the fact that I'm not neither rising nor sinking is due to the balance of forces between what floats me, syntactic foam. It's essentially an incompressible block, which is less dense than seawater. So, to make an analogy, if I were a blimp, this would be my gas bag, my lighter than air, or in this case, lighter than water substance up above me. Below it hangs many thousands of pounds of metal and some propellers. And right now, the propellers that point up and down are turning at about 18% of their maximum. And what they're doing is they're pushing back against that upward flotation force.
Turning to 060.
So that I neither rise nor sink.
Well, it certainly looks like there's, as you said, almost no current. You know, sometimes we're down here and you can see the corals and everything bending over and just waving.
I'd be okay
but
with
here, we're just here, just sitting here. You can sit here all day. It's like having a deep sea hammock.
Yeah. Nothing much. Sure am.
Okay, I'm center on 060 pilot.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
Ready for a move, please. 30 meters, bearing 060, 0.2 knots.
Range, 30 meters.
Can we zoom in
bearing
on some of
060,
these objects?
speed 0.2 knots.
Sort of around the
coming up.
thick ridge there. Like
Yeah.
there's a
I see something right in front of
brown
us.
something.
Zoom. Here, video.
Okay, looks like an urchin or an enemy.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
In the sand.
Oh, dandelion.
Oh,
what do we-
jackpot.
Oh, that's very cool.
Very
Come
close
out
to
Good
it.
eyes,
Come
Chris.
on out, Roland. I got plenty of time to go look at that.
Very easy on the thrusters.
Yeah.
ROV nav, move initiated.
Is he pulling in? Okay, you can zoom.
Trying to figure out where this thing is in the Okeanos guide.
So for those of you who are tuning in, this is what's called a benthic siphonophore. For those of you who tuned in yesterday to watch our midwater dives, siphonophores are more commonly associated with swimming and sort of gelatinous bodies that live in the pelagic three-dimensional watery space. But there are groups of them that are very specialized into these unusual forms that live along the bottom, and so these are suspended by all of these tentacles or extensions, and it looks like they actually use them to. I'm not sure, but I think these are the feeding tentacles. The ones that we see in the water column extend a sheet of feeding tentacles as kind of what other people have called a sort of sheet of death, which they use to capture small prey. But these seem suspended. You can see the four pulsing structures here that in the swimming siphonophore would be what they use to actually swim through the water. But these are sometimes called believe they go by the names. This is in the family Rhodalidae, and I think they sometimes go by dandelion jellies.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, good.
And they're
Tilt down
they're
just
fairly
so it's at the top of the
uncommon
screen. We can look at
and
the
really
tentacles
bizarre
going
looking.
down.
They're kind of the siphonoph. Oh, here's a little amphipod that.
Is he stuck on one of the tines, or
I'm not
whatever?
sure.
He was rappelling down the tine.
Interesting.
Tilt down.
So yeah, it's not entirely clear to me what every aspect of this animal's biology is. They're certainly sort of held by these tentacles to the substrate, but it's not clear. I think they're, as I said earlier, I think they're feeding tentacles as well. But there's not a lot that there are several of these that are poorly understood.
Put it at the top of the screen. It's good.
Some of them, I don't. Do we have lasers? How big is this?
Yeah, we do.
We do have
to pull
lasers
out
on.
Thank you.
just a little bit.
So those things flying across are actually some tentacles that are extending.
Now, Chris, this pumping motion, is that
I suspect it's water circulation that because they're usually held in place. So, I mean, these are being held in place. Usually, when they're swimming, the pulsing motion sort of actually gives them a little bit of a push. But I think here, the only thing I could think of is that it actually circulates water around the body.
is that for oxygenation or
It could be for respiration or breathing, or it could also be to just generate a current that might help them feed. This could be sort of just a big trap. That's my speculation, but it's unclear exactly. They're like as I said, I think they're fairly poorly understood, and I'm not entirely sure if they know exactly how these feed, but we're sort of looking up as we speak, trying to figure out some of the more elementary aspects of these. But
are those?
Yeah.
Well, I can't find the
Copepods,
pictures of it in the guide. It should be on other invertebrates.
There's some stuff flying around here that I don't know whether it's attached to it or it's something it's feeding on.
Well, we're probably good, pilot.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay.
What can't be seen except on my very high-res monitor is most of those things flying around
So
were
it's a
actually
fairly small animal, maybe a couple
very
centimeters
thin
across. Interesting.
tentacles being stretched out further.
Oh, I know why I can't find these things. For goodness sakes, they're hydrozoans.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at other invertebrates. I keep forgetting that siphonophores are other hydrozoans. Jeez.
What's the difference between an invertebrate and a hydrozoan?
Well, hydrozoans are a type of invertebrate, but I was trying to look up the ID on this thing because I knew we'd gone further. Chris Ma nailed the family. It's Rhodalidae, but we had actually gone to the genus Thermophalia, and I just couldn't find it in the guide because I forgot it was in the hydrozoan groups of invertebrates rather than being some weird little thing, some other type of invertebrate that wasn't a coral or echinoderm or something. So, okay.
Now that thermo, is that indicative of being found near vents?
I don't know. It's a good question, pilot. I mean, thermo does kind of refer to maybe fire or heat, and maybe the beautiful red color, palea. I don't know. Like just the color of it, maybe thermophalia. You think that could be what it's referring to, or?
Oh, you mean the name?
Yeah, thermophalia.
Well, I think the name is what is it? Dromalia. Oh, thermophalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably refers to the color.
Oh.
Something floating in the water, top left edge of screen.
I see it. I also see... No, that's not a starfish. We can.
Oh, it wasn't. I think he said other than was.
Well, it was a squiggle of sand.
Yeah.
Starship-shaped squiggle of
No,
sand.
I thought you were blasphemous there for a moment, just saying, it was just a starfish.
I have the utmost respect for starfish.
That's like saying this is just mucus.
Yeah.
Video's clear.
Okay, wide. But I'm going to go look, because whatever it is, it's not just a rock. There goes
Jellyfish, top left, white dot.
I see it. Just there's a splash of yellow here, and I don't know.
Sediment.
Dead.
You're trying to
Dead
muddy my
stuff.
thinking. Soon?
Sediment. Dead sponge.
Okay.
Or no, mesh that. Well,
That
it could be a dead sponge.
Yeah, it's that debris that
Oh,
we've been
that-
seeing.
That's right.
Those mucus sort of webbing things that seem to be present between rocks.
Not a figment.
There's a candelabra top left.
I see it. We'll get that in a moment. Snap on this just for the ID.
It's a live Cheetah pleura. Yeah, with a crinoid on it. This is a type of,
hydroid on it as well.
this is kind of a glass sponge. It's in the family Incineratoridae. And that hydroid is tubularid, I believe.
Yeah. So hydroids are actually in the same general group of cnidarians as that siphonophore we just saw. There's quite a bit of diversity in that group.
And we can zoom on the coral.
Looks like a primnoid, I think.
I don't have the tether to get over there
Think
right now.
I
But
think you're right. We'll just call that a primnoid.
okay.
Now we're not done with that move.
It's that gelatinous thing below lasers in the crack of the rock.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I don't think so. I mean, he's getting pretty far away from me. But I don't know when that move finished, so. Okay.
But we can get moving. Oh yeah, I'm always ready. Okay.
Yeah, that looks good.
What did you see, Roland?
Left of lasers, so level with the lasers.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
Okay.
We are ready to
Gotcha.
run another ship move.
All right, go ahead.
Shadows.
0 meters at 060, 0.2 knots.
Yeah.
Nice broken pillar there.
Okay,
that the
range
lasers
30
are on.
meters, bearing 060.
We've got a
Speed
couple
0.2
of rocks, but
knots.
those are the kind
Coming
we
up.
like. We got a couple of those rocks today.
No more rocks for you, Chris.
I
You've
know,
had enough.
we're done with rocks. I think the ROV is now weighed down enough.
We could have a
But-
rock exchange program. You could have a rock upgrade.
I like the ones we got. Thanks very much.
Okay.
It's
I just don't get to play. Huh?
it's purring like a kitten right now.
Okay.
Those rocks.
All right.
Doesn't even need to go in for a tune-up, either one of them. Some pillow formations, those globular formations. There's
Seeing
another.
sponges again.
Yeah, the
ROV nav,
Bolosoma.
move
That's
initiated.
the one we've been seeing all day. It's just the sponge.
It is just a sponge.
It is just sponge. That's right.
Is that
I
another
can say that I can mock my research interest since I'm very interested in sponges. Something's up on that boulder upslope a bit.
Sure it is. Zoom here from here, Roland. We'll get a
No, it's another. I want to say a primnode.
Yeah, probably. I think you're right. Maybe Narella